Hello everyone, my name is MyDarling. Welcome to Follow Kai Tianfeng. Let's review the strange case of Miss Kai Tianfeng. Abby Choi's body dismemberment case was a murder that occurred in the New Territories of Hong Kong on February 21, 2023. The victim was 28-year-old socialite Kai Tianfeng, who was active in the fashion industry. The body of the victim in this case was found in Long Tai Village, Tai Mai Tuk, Tai Po, New Territories. 3 days after he was reported missing on February 24, 2023. The deceased in the case is Hong Kong socialite Abby Choi, July 11, 1994 to February 21, 2023. On February 21, 2023. Sai Ting Feng left her residence in Kadoorie Hill and took her vehicle in Kwong Kong Kit's vehicle, which was scheduled to pick her up at a school on Science Park Road, Hong Kong Science Park. The daughter of her and her ex-husband, Kwong Hong Chi, was after school when the vehicle passed the entrance of the Lion Hill Tunnel. Kwong boarded the vehicle and got into an argument with her. The pedestrian then arrived at the unit where the incident occurred in Long Tai Village, Tai Po, together with Kwong Chu, who was driving a Chinese Hong Kong branded 7-seater car. The three fathers and sons then joined forces to mutilate and dismember Kai Tin Feng the next day. Kwong drove back to the unit where the body occurred and transported the body parts away for disposal. CCTV captured Kwong Kit approaching the vehicle with a large white plastic box and opening the trunk of the car, which was suspected to contain Kai Tin Feng's body parts. On the night of Abby Choi's disappearance, her family called the police, and the case was transferred to the West Kowloon Police Headquarters Serious Crimes Unit for follow-up. According to missing persons information released by the police, Kai Tianfeng had been in and out of Kojin Road in Bai Shek Kok Science Park on the day of disappearance. On the afternoon of February 24, 2023, police found Kai Tianfeng's body in a village house in Tai Po Tai Mai Tuk Long Tai Village, 11 kilometers away from Kojin Road. Police found body parts in the refrigerator in the ground floor unit of the village house, as well as cooking tools at the scene, according to villagers in Longwei Village. On the evening of February 21, 2023, Abby Choi got out of a 7-seater car and followed several people into the unit where the crime occurred. By the early hours of the next day, intermittent crashes were heard inside the unit, with suspected objects hitting the window or falling to the ground, mixed with the sounds of a woman and a man talking. But the content could not be heard clearly. Another neighbor heard noises and a woman's cry near the village house for nearly an hour, during which someone shouted, "You're coming." Residents nearby said the ground floor unit of the village house had been vacant for several months. It was not until the eve of the incident that there was a 7-seater car with license plates from Guangdong and Hong Kong. It is estimated that the residents moved in at the same time. The residence of former head of Long Tai Village, Mr. Chan, is facing the unit involved, and his CCTV footage captured the 7-seater car leaving the scene at about 3 p.m. on February 21. On June 18, 2023, a funeral was held at the Bao Phuc Hall on the ground floor of the Bao Phuc Memorial Hall in Tai Wai. The funeral hall is mainly decorated in pink, with a pink curtain hanging. There are 2 giant color photos of Kai Tianfeng outside the door. The funeral was conducted in the form of Buddhism, with a master of Po Lin Temple bringing a large number of supplies inside. More than $3 million was spent on the funeral, of which about $2 million was spent on restoring the remains using 3D printing technology. There is no memorial section at the ceremony. At least 7 tour buses took a large number of relatives and friends to the scene to pay their respects. At one point, more than 100 relatives and friends were waiting outside. They lined up outside the mourning hall. Kai Tianfeng's husband and 2 children arrived at the scene in 7-seater cars at around 3 p.m. Several celebrities in the city sent flower cards to express their condolences, including singer Kwok Fu-ching and his wife Fang Yuan, Tsai Yi-chi and his wife, and TVB executive Lok Yi-ling. Although Kai Tianfeng's case was booming, it seemed to have ushered in another strange case. There is no new progress, and many media have no intention of following up. As the order pointed out, I saw Kai Tianfeng's residence. In fact, Kai Tianfeng has no new progress, but it is not without content. It is terrible that as long as you have faith, you will still find a lot of valuable items. Because in the previous stage, because various relatives came too fiercely, the information was too confusing at once, and too many people did not notice. Today I will still share some fresh and exciting information with you, and there are also some valuable information from beginning to end. Please be sure to see it, because there will be incredible news until the end. But before we officially talk about it, let's talk about why those media want to follow up on Abby's mansion during her lifetime. But before we officially talk about it, let's talk about why the media pursued Abby's mansion during her lifetime. The media said that there were many photos of Abby celebrating Christmas at home in her headphones. The photos showed that the big Christmas tree was filled with gift boxes and various crystal decorations, as well as media interviews. There was also a carousel at home wearing a small dress. Kai Tianfeng, sitting on a wooden horse, looks like a princess in a fairy tale, taking media photos, etc. In fact, these photos have been dug out a long time ago. Isn't it a bit late now? Abby is not a report that was just dug up today. The purpose of these is nothing more than to exaggerate Kai Tianfeng's house during his lifetime, how luxurious his life is, etc. In other words, Abby is a socialite, which may be a more divine purpose. Abby is a celebrity. It was deliberately packaged and promoted in order to better launder money under the celebrities. These 3 families laundered money. In fact, it is easy to understand the money laundering. That is, if it is said someone has a lot of illegally obtained money, such as corruption, bribery, or improper income obtained through other means. This cannot be spent publicly, because you will be exposed as soon as you spend money. So the money must be converted into legal income through some means of transfer. Of course, the people who laundered the money asked a group of reporters to visit this big house privately. To be honest, it was to cover up the crimes of money laundering. I know there are media crimes. Maybe that's not the intention. They may have reported it without thinking that it was a piece of news. But in some cases, the media obviously analyzed the right way or dug into it, so someone came out to change the direction. If you want to continue to cover up the truth, the media should investigate. Pan Chaoxian, who is awaiting trial, really has a lot of information about him, and the media should investigate. The case of Miss Abby Choi's broken body is like a dream that once a sparrow turned into a phoenix. The dream was eventually even more than the nightmare swallowed by darkness. Although the Hong Kong police quickly solved the case, Abby the increase in Miss Choi cases becomes confusing, and the case of Kai Tianfeng's body is like a thriller suspense drama. Not only broadcast live by the Chinese media, but even Hollywood stars pay attention to Kai Tianfeng's ex-husband's family, even if they pulled these murderers. We all do not believe that this case is so hastily ended, but think that there is more black behind the case, or just a few murderers. Choi, Miss was originally named Yun Tin Feng, then was abandoned by her parents and was born into Kwa Wan with her grandfather and grandmother. Just an adult unmarried pregnant mother dissatisfied with her husband has divorced. Is not what a rich mother, remarried and gave birth to 2 half-sisters, Stepfather's 2 Kai Tianfeng's biological daughter is not a celebrity. Kai Tianfeng's previous life has always been very clear from the media reported celebrities. There is a huge difference. The French fashion magazine that she promotes, Fashion Idol, is actually by Chinese magazine Fashion and French national publishing group Netflix, the product of share copyright cooperation. Broken Down is a war foreign brands export to domestic sales of domestic magazines, that is, in mainland China and Hong Kong. Macau and Taiwan Publishing and Distribution Supervisory Unit is China's company group. Mainland Hong Kong, Macau and Taiwan Publishing and Distribution Supervisory Unit China Group. Kai Feng is only 1.55 meters tall, skinny and small, is not a model, has neither outstanding talent nor small background in society. Poor girls like a magician performance with a magic wand wave. In the blink of an eye turns into a full of famous brands of fashion celebrities, even helped her deliberately packaging to help her do all. Zhang Feng has an ordinary person overnight become a celebrity rich, in addition to spending money to do small support. There are steps only the intervention of the wealthy family can solve this logical problem. Married after he started to live in a mansion, driving a good car through gold and silver, in and out of high-end places and regular buildings, and the rich life. Not long before the accident, so the starring movie Tian Long Ba Bug Chao charity premiere. Donnie Yen Security Secretary Deng Bingqiang with the stage. In addition, often on social media, Small himself with celebrity photos, including Aaron Kwok's wife Plan. As for his Su brand handbags and other expensive luxury goods are more commonplace. Kai Tianfeng divorced the next year. Tan family pretended to have a Christmas wedding, accepted him and have 2 children's life experience. The wedding is like becoming a magic show to change people's wishes. Claiming to be a friend called Mrs. Bubble. Claiming to be authorized by the Tan family to accept media interviews to hide no voice. And did not leave pictures. Many news and media revelations are from Bubble, but really need him to come out to testify, when he not only did not come out but deleted numerous photos and comments. Peeking with Tianfeng's mother, 5th sister Kai Tianfeng, Abby revealed. Choi, Chris and her ex-husband Kwong Kwang Chi are classmates, and Miss Abby Choi and Chris are at the same international school. An insider revealed that Abby Choi, Miss Junior High School at Kowloon Tong School and Hong Kong to Junior High School Chan Shu Ku Memorial Secondary School Tsai Tin Feng, his classmates have a bad reputation. There are fights and fights being recorded by the school. The record is a problem that we all see and want to avoid. Miss Choi, a property in the name of her ex-husband's father, Kwong Gao. A house priced at $72,300,000 in Kadori Hill. Choi, Miss Abby Choi's life or death. These people have been joining forces to maintain the image of Miss Abby Choi's rich and famous family, making her rich and wealthy image logical far more than the average person imagines. The family's reaction when Miss Abby Choi's funeral, not grief and anger, but under this feeling, under the chicken to do a show cover the truth. The current Tan family willing to marry a remarried woman with children. What is the attempt? Tianfeng married to the Tan family. Hidden unknown secrets. Tan family parents can interact with parents closely, often together. Girlfriend and 2 husbands. Abby Kai Tianfeng, often gathering. Miss Choi remained close after her divorce. Not only did she buy a mansion worth more than $70 million and register it in the name of her ex-husband's father, she also registered a company jointly with her ex-husband's brother. She also hired her as a private driver. Choi Miss current husband Chris's conversation. He said if the Tan family plays, the next scene is to die together. Formerly Fantasy Lawyers Group Seeking had asked the Tan family to hope the Tan family to help pay the lawyers' fees. So these are full of spooky places to say had disclosed Miss Abby Choi. Abby Choi, ex-husband, former gay appetizers. There are also rumors that Miss Abby Choi, Miss. An insider revealed that these three families are actually doing the business of the underground money house Miss Kai Tianfeng, Abby Choi, Miss, in order to continue the family, most importantly enough to package her as a celebrity so can conveniently help the Tan family launder money interests. Three families cannot be abnormally pulled together. Dishes. Two families do not even register. Their children's marriage does not register in order to prevent possible emergencies in the future. Participants may be partners who play different roles in business. In 2020, Kwong established two shell companies in mainland China. But the actual capital is to make the family responsible for taking orders in the country to participate in Hong Kong, is responsible for operating Kai Tianfeng, Abby Miss Choi. Is the Axis member of these three families, and the behind-the-scenes sponsor is still a mystery. Hong Kong is known as the Asian Forces Choi, Miss Dismemberment case. Feng's ex-husband until 2015. Wanted for fraudulent future. During the past 8 years, while wanted, he was able to travel freely between China and Hong Kong. The defendants, Lin Shun, 41, yacht company employee, and Pan Chao Hin, 29, unemployed, were charged with one count of conspiracy to obstruct justice from February 24 to 25, 2023, between 20 days, including the first and last 2 days, in Hong Kong. Anticipating an investigation into a man known as Alex, that may have relevant legal proceedings conducted by law enforcement agencies that may result in related legal proceedings. Conspired with a woman known as Ivy to perform a series of obstruction of justice tendencies to obstruct justice, i.e., assisting the Alex to leave Hong Kong's emergency and secret immigration through Hong Kong Immigration Station. A total of 6 people have been charged in the Kai Tianfeng case, and 4 others for murder and obstruction of justice. Police have charged 6 others, including the deceased's former uncle Kwong Kit, 31, driver, former family member Wong Kwong, 65, retired, and ex-husband Kwong Chi, 28, unemployed. The deceased's former sister-in-law, Li Ruixiang, 63, was charged with 1 count of obstruction of justice. Li plans to plead not guilty. The case is scheduled for a pre-trial review on May 8 this year.